Hello, folks. We're here with Mike Ward. He's a Franco-Canadien who's also an English Canadian. I don't know if you're more French or English, but before we cut to Mike, I want to explain the context of his appearance on this show. Comedians here in America, Jerry Seinfeld and the like, are complaining that colleges are too PC and it's hard to be a comedian, and sometimes people poo-poo them and claim that, look, it's not that bad. And we had Paul F. Tompkins saying PC is actually good for comedy. And a lot of the backlash against this anti-PC thing is saying, hey, they're on the right side of history. What could possibly go wrong? It's not that bad. Well, I'll tell you what could possibly go wrong. It's happening in Canada. What started out as a nice egalitarian organization, the Canadian Human Rights Commission, has run out of bad guys. So they're scurrying through the country trying to find evil racists or homophobes or someone that they can prosecute for hate crimes because they have bills to pay. And there was a story, no one seemed to believe me. There was this guy in Vancouver who was dealing with some hecklers who happened to be lesbians, and he said, of course you're lesbians. No one will fuck you. You're hideous. Ha ha ha. By the way, hecklers have picked a fight, so you're allowed to insult them. He got fined, I believe it was $10,000 from the CHRC, and it's happening again and again. Mike Ward is just the most recent case here. And what Mike did was he made a joke about a child who was part of a Make-A-Wish Foundation and then just sort of kept living. And he goes, wasn't this guy supposed to die? I thought Make-A-Wish was for people who were fatally ill. And then he made a joke about, I'm going to try to kill him. He's unkillable. Mike, you are awaiting a decision for this joke.
Yeah, the way it works in Canada is the judge doesn't say if you're guilty or not right away. You get it by email 6 months later, which is how it should be, right?
Right, of course. It's efficient.
Enlarge your penis. You're not guilty.
Yeah, you might. What if you miss it?
I don't know. If it goes in my junk mail, I'm fucked.
Yeah, because when you do a subpoena or something, they have to go and they have to physically hand it to you.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but I'll get this by email.
And when is the decision made?
It's between 3 and 6 months, so I have no idea.
So could it be made now and they just wait 6 months to email you?
Probably. Because I figure it won't take 6 months to figure out if a comedian is allowed to try to be funny.
They can't have that many cases backed up.
I don't know.
They've got Nazis and KKK guys and other child haters all... I mean, this isn't it's not the law. They're not preventing assault. It's all hate crimes. It's all human rights violations.
Yeah, and Canada is so friendly, so there's probably, like, if a comedian is being charged, that means there's nothing else going on.
Well, that is precisely the problem. The Human Rights Commission this happened to me as a kid. When in third grade, we wanted to start a gang, and we called ourselves the Falcons, and we were going to go around the schoolyard stopping bullies. And we ran around the schoolyard, and there was no bullies. So we ended up just having to invent them and beat up random people. The CHRC is running around picking on random people because there's not enough villains in their silly story.
Yeah.
So what's the best case scenario now? The best case scenario is $100,000 in legal fees.
Yeah, the best case scenario is it cost me $100,000. Worst case scenario is I'll have to give $80,000 to the family.
And also $100,000.
And I still pay my legal fees.
Because my understanding with Canadian litigation is if you bring a false case, you have to pay the legal fees. But it seems like the CHRC has different rules.
Yeah, no, I still have to pay, no matter what happens. So that's why I'm trying to milk this in America to get, $100,000 worth of free press.
Well, this might end up helping your career, which would be the ultimate thorn in their side.
That'd be the best fuck you to give the Human Rights Commission. If I could become a huge star in the States and just drown kids everywhere in my jokes. Like, all my jokes would be about me drowning random kids.
It is amazing that...
None of them Canadian, because that's illegal.
Right. The subtext here is that you want to drown a child.
I want to drown...
And they're preventing you from doing that, or at least bragging about it.
I got into comedy because I want to drown young children. I want to get groupies, get them pregnant, and then drown that child.
Unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, so Americans, so British people, when you hear about free speech and you go, how bad can it get? Let's placate them. They are ISIS. When you placate them, you just feed the beast and they get hungrier and hungrier to the tune of $180,000. Free speech matters because when you don't fight for free speech, you create a vacuum that empowers the fascists. Thanks for tuning in.